for our online show today, which is called Tea Talk. And this is a time when we talk about real and relevant issues that will make you think. Not only make you think, but make you be able to adjust some things by the knowledge that you will receive. Well, today we're going to talk about some knowledge that's not political, it's not anything major, but it is major because I'm going to talk about friendship. And friendship is something that we typically don't discuss. We just fall into a friendship, fall out of a friendship, leave a friendship, miss a friendship, but we never really talk about it. So we're going to dissect it really well today to see if we can help each of us understand friendship better so that we can be a better friend and then we can attract the right friends that we can keep for a lifetime. Now, this subject matter is so dear to me because I think about my mother, and when she passed away, she sent all of us home and she called for all of her friends. And she had about 4 or 5 friends that I've known since I was a little girl. And they were supposed to come around and just give us a break and spend some time with her, fun time with her. Well, next thing we knew, she was checking out with her friends, and they were all around her bedside. It wasn't her children like we thought we would all be there, but she said differently, and I have to honor that. But when I thought about it, I said, you know, what better way to go out? These are ladies that have seen her through thick and thin as we've gone through childhood issues, as she's gone through different marriages and relationships. I remember when they used to go out to different events and they would dress up, and over the years, they remained friends. And even after my mother passed away, these same ladies would call me because they were so close to my mother. So I said to myself at that time, I really need to, well, I asked myself the question, and I'll ask you, do you have friends? How many friends do you have? And I would ask you, are they true friends? Or are they just acquaintances? Are they people that you really can share anything with? Well, when you get through with this show, you're going to be reevaluating whether or not you have true friends, real friends, and kind of assess yourself. What kind of friend are you? So ask yourself, what kind of friend am I? And you might want to ask your friend, as I'm going to ask my friend today, what kind of friend am I? And you have to be honest with the people that you talk to, but know your limits and boundaries. That you sometimes when you ask a person a question, they may not want the real true answer because you may break up your friendship. But this friend of mine, I have known her since high school, and she has been a friend over the years. And we just celebrated our 50th class reunion, and well, celebrated the anniversary. We haven't done the celebrations yet, but in May we have been out of school, high school, for 50 years. And so we got to talk about what's gone on over those 50 years and how do you remain friends with a person for 50 years. So her name is Jennifer Holmes Neal. Her married name is Neal. And when we were in high school, it was Jennifer Holmes. So if any of you Wilma Hutchins people are looking, I'm Evelyn Horn Ogletree, was in high school, and we have been together for more than 50 years. So would you help me welcome my dear friend Jennifer to Tea Talk?
Hello, I am so honored to be a part of Tea Talk on today. And this subject, friendship, yeah, it's really something. It's really something. And thank you, Lady O, for inviting me. Thank you for being a friend over 52 years. And it's just amazing. And we have just rekindled a new friendship because
Yeah,
things have gotten in the way of us keeping in touch. And I know you're going to touch on that as well.
exactly. And that's one of the things that when you know you have a true friend, you can be away from them for years. And when you see them again, you can pick up where you left off. It's not weird. It's not like, even though it's rekindling, because there's so much I don't know about Jennifer and her life of all of these 50 years, because what happened is she was in my wedding. She was my maid of honor. And so we finished high school together. And then after high school, we both went to different colleges. And back then they didn't have cell phones. So you couldn't pick up the phone. There were no computers. So you'd have to call long distance and pay for it if you were going to talk to that friend long distance. So we lost touch with each other. Then I moved to Houston and she was still in Dallas, or I really didn't know where she was. I didn't even know if she was married or what. She knew that I was married. So there was a lot of things that I didn't know in order to keep the friendship up. And then plus you get busy having babies and, trying to go to school.
Absolutely.
And you didn't. So
Absolutely.
let's go back, Jennifer. Let's talk about how we met first. Do you
Okay.
remember when we met in high school?
I do. I remember it was the beginning of school was starting.
Uh-huh.
And I had been in the community for about a year. And we met on the bus stop.
Okay.
Going to a new school. Although I had been in the community a year, we were going to a new school, which was Wilma Hutchins. We had a choice to go to Kennedy School, but I learned from my eighth grade year, let me say my ninth grade year, of walking to school. So I didn't want that to happen again. So I wanted to have transportation because it's not fun walking in the rain and the cold. So we met at the bus stop, and Clara was there, and we just kind of kindled a relationship then.
Yeah, yeah, I remember that now because Jennifer lived up the hill and I
Right.
lived close, almost to the end of the hill. And so she would have to walk by my house to come down to the bus stop on the corner.
Yes.
And there were several of us there. And even you remember sometimes when my husband, that wasn't his stop, but he would come over to that stop.
Oh yeah, and we'll get to Bishop later.
We'll get to it in a minute because so we were riding the bus together, and then the next major milestone that I remember about us is I know we had a few classes together, and the thing that was so unique about the school and us going to this school, this was right after integration.
Yes.
And we were like the first big group of African American students to
Yes.
go to an all-white school. And
Yes.
so here we were. I was really afraid. I'd never been to school with white people,
Absolutely.
and I didn't know what to expect. And some things were a little volatile there, so I was really uneasy. So any black person that I could find that I could bond with, I was really happy. So
Yes.
Jennifer and I bonded. We were in the same grade, and the next thing I know, I don't know if we were at lunch or what. Where were we when you said, we need to sign up for the drill team to go out for the drill
Oh,
team? You remember that? I was like, what?
oh, yes, yes. Um, we were seniors, and
Okay,
it was our last year, and it was like, okay, oh,
there's
there
a
we are,
picture. The bluebells.
the bluebells, and I said, yeah, let's do that, because I was saying that'd be a way let me put it like this, that I could get out the house on a Friday night and
Right,
have
right,
some
right.
fun.
Oh, we had so much fun at the games and so forth,
Yes.
traveling on the bus. And that's a group of us there. And we may have another with the two of us. We got a picture made together with just the two of us. I don't know if she has that picture with our cowboy boots pointing together and touching.
Oh yeah, we were
Uh,
real bluebells, I tell you.
we were. And I remember us practicing every day because we had to get you would practice with me and I practice. You said, now stand behind me and see if if you can see my heel going over my head, because that's the way you got in. You had to do high kicks.
Yes.
You had to kick your heel had to go over your head like this. So we were both practicing. The fear was, what if I make it and she doesn't make it?
Hmm.
Or what if she
Hmm.
makes it and I don't make it? What are we going to do? But we
Yeah,
both made it.
we
Yay.
did, we did. And we were the only two seniors
Yeah,
and the bluebells that year. The only
that's right.
two. The only
Yeah,
two.
we went out when we were junior because we got to the school late. When we
Hmm.
got there, we were already we were past the freshman year. I think we were sophomores,
Mm-hmm.
I believe.
We were,
We were,
yes, we were sophomores.
and so
Uh-huh.
that next year we decided to go out for the drill team,
Mm-hmm.
and and we did. So we were the seniors. We were just that one year, but it was one of the best years of my
Oh,
life.
it was wonderful.
I mean, on that bus, riding from place to place and doing the dances and stuff, and we were really good too, weren't we?
Oh, we were great. We were better than good, okay?
We
And I
were
want,
great.
I want to remember, it was our first game, I believe, and it was fourth quarter,
Uh-huh.
and football team scored a touchdown, and we knew at that time we had sealed it.
Uh-huh.
So, you know, as a team, we're supposed to be uniform. Well,
Yeah.
we were so happy. We just started doing our own thing and dancing. And about time that I caught our drill team instructor, Miss Crow's eye,
Uh-huh.
you were doing the twirl, and I couldn't get you to say you were in the groove. So of course, you know, Monday
Oh my.
we
We
got a
got it.
good talking to, you know.
We did. Our drill team instructors were so well, I think Miss Blondell Crow, I mean, she was just a godsend because I remember one of the ladies, and I don't guess she was over, I think she was over the cheerleaders, I'm not sure. But I remember one of them did something. You couldn't go get a drink unless everybody got a drink together. She got a drink and sneaked it on the bus. And that lady, you remember coming back, that lady took that drink and threw it in her face. I mean, it was awful. So she was an Anglo director. So we were glad to have Miss Crow as ours. We were like, whoa.
Yes.
But it was a lot of fun. So once, but you were able to, like I said, we bringing in my husband now, that he was on that corner too. And he would have his mother sometime come by and drop him off at that corner because he wanted to ride the bus with me. And
Yes.
yeah, and so and save a seat for me. We were sitting together, and you remember when I got his jacket, his football jacket? Do you remember
Of
that?
course. I remember, yeah. I remember. I remember. Well, you know, it's amazing that back then, of course, he was John, he's bishop now, but he managed to be at every lunch period.
Yeah.
I'm like, okay, I think we had either two or three, but he was at every one of them.
Yeah.
Okay.
Right.
And to be a true friend, Evelyn never told me, okay, you get lost, you go somewhere. I'm spending this time with my boyfriend, maybe. Because I don't think y'all had really officially at that time said you were girlfriend and
Uh-huh.
boyfriend. Y'all was moving in that direction. I don't know when it happened, but you stayed a true friend in that aspect because I didn't have a boyfriend on that campus or anything, but you stayed a true friend. And I remember it was this song that Bishop really loved by The Temptations.
Uh-huh.
Eddie Kendrick was on
Yeah.
lead.
Uh-huh.
He was leading. It was just my imagination
Uh-huh.
running
Uh-huh.
away from it. He would sing that to you.
Uh-huh.
I had to listen through that. And then after he left, you were singing it. I said, "Oh, right, okay, now this is just."
That's enough. Yeah, those are some really good times. You remember, were you at the party when we met? The big scandal party when he was
I,
kissing me and his
I
old
was there.
girlfriend in school found out about it. Were you at
I
that party?
Yeah. Now, was that a party you gave, or was another
No,
party?
it was a party. You know, the late girl that lived two doors down from us. I forget her
Oh,
name.
okay, kind of closer to me up the hill.
Closer to you.
Yes,
Up there. That was
yes, I was there. Yes.
right. I thought you were. So anyway, I wasn't there. Clara was there, and Clara came home and said, "Would you come on, go to this party? This boy keeps asking about you, and he is wearing me. Why don't you get yourself dressed and go to the party?" So this is a big thing that we always talk about in our little marriage thing. We share with people that back in the day they had hip hugger bell bottom pants. And so I
Yes.
had some yellow ones and I had a really cute top, white top. and I went down there and the funky chicken was out. You remember the funky chicken?
Yes.
So
Yes.
I'm just dancing doing the funky chicken. And he said, he says now, he told me later, when I saw you do that funky chicken, I knew you were mine. You had to be mine. So he was trying to kiss me on the side of the house. And he had another girlfriend, which I didn't know at school. So the next morning at school, it was all over the school. And anyway, long story short, that broke up. And I became the new girlfriend. And
Yes.
to prove he had broken up with her, he had to give me his jacket. So
Yeah.
that was the proof.
Yeah.
Anyway, so that was high school. Things are so different now. So we went to college. What college did you go to?
Well, first of all, I went to El Centro for my
Okay.
first 2 years. And
Okay.
then I transferred to East Texas State, which is now Texas A&M Commerce.
Okay. Okay. All
And
right.
I finished my bachelor's degree there. So I stayed home for the first two
Okay.
years due to financial situations. My
Right.
parents weren't able to, send us off,
Right.
and we didn't get along, but we did get scholarships to go to the junior college. So that's where I started off. Yeah.
Okay. Let's see. That's something I didn't know, and I thought because I knew you were at East Texas. I thought at one time. I wasn't
Hmm.
quite sure if that's was the path for sure you chose. So, but anyway, so I didn't know any of this because I had gone on to TWU's where my mom took me, and
Right.
of course, I don't know if you know the story that my husband came and checked me out of TWU and took me to UTA.
Hmm. Yeah.
And so that's how I got to be there. And
Hmm.
when I got to be there, our other friend, Cherie Butler, I forget her married name right now, but she was there. So she and I became roommates there. So she became my friend in college while I was
Hmm.
there. But I think our friends, the circle was very small
It
for
was.
our.
It was. It was because well, you were dating, and
Mhm.
Cherie were dating, and the guys, Bishop and Cherie's boyfriend at that time were friends. So y'all did a lot of double dating and
Right.
dating, which like I wasn't dating, and my mom was a little bit stricter, a little bit stricter.
Yeah.
Um, than Miss Wilson,
Yeah.
but they both had high goals for us and wanted us
Exactly.
to do well in life and want us to be women that could provide for ourselves.
Exactly. And I want to go back to the friendship part of that too, that you were saying that I think if you're going to be a friend to someone, uh, sometimes you can let guys or men or whatever come between you and you kick your friends to the curb. So if you find out that you have a guy who doesn't want you to have friends, doesn't want you to be around your family, that is not a good thing. You should
That's a red
always,
flag. Yes,
it's
that's
a
a red
red
flag.
flag. So that's for anybody who's watching. Um, the same thing with friends. If you have friends that don't want you to have a boyfriend, or they don't want you to be around your boyfriend, you've got to have that balance, and that comes with
Right.
being secure in who you are, and both people doing their part to be the right kind of friend.
Right.
The one that has a boyfriend has to make sure that they don't just kick that friend to the curb and say, "Well, I don't need any friends anymore. I got a boyfriend." And
Right.
then the other friend who doesn't have a boyfriend or who is the other, then they got to understand that you got to share that time. And you were
Right.
so good
Right.
with that.
Right.
Uh,
You have to respect that friend and her time with her boyfriend and not to become envious or jealous about that
mhm.
relationship. So that's
Yeah.
very important.
I call them needy people. I tell people all the time when you know, I'm talking to them or maybe a friend to them or whatever, they want to be friends with me. I said, well, look, I can't have needy people around me. And needy people like you got to always answer my call. You got to always do this. You got to always do it the way I want to do it. Where were you? Why? That kind of thing like that. You got to give friends a room to breathe and be somebody who they are other than just your friend.
Right. And you have to be able to give them space to have other friends
They have, oh my
as
goodness.
well,
Mhm.
and not get upset or in your feelings and hurt because
Mhm.
she and her other friend did something together. There were times when you and your other friends when I didn't get angry because I had other friends too. I had family. So it's like that. You know, you can't be in, don't think that you're going to be included in everything your friend
Oh,
does.
that's a very good point. And being competitive, you're my
Right.
best friend. Am I your best friend? I really sometimes don't really like that word, best friend, because I think you have friends for different occasions and different reasons and seasons and those kind of things. And so if I want to have talk to my friend about this that's married, I might, not that it's my best friend, but I can talk to her about
Right.
married things if she's got kids or whatever. So you can't be jealous or competitive. You got to understand and be
Exactly.
secure in your place and position in that particular friendship.
Absolutely.
Yeah,
Absolutely. That is so true. That
yeah,
is so
yeah.
true.
So let's talk about what does a good friend look like? What kind of characteristics? You got some people on here that may be saying, well, I've got some people I, go out with, I hang out with, but I don't know if I would consider them a friend or a true friend. How do you know? What are some characteristics you think?
I think one is friend is when they have your best interests at heart.
Oh, that's a good one.
They want the best for you. They
Uh-huh.
celebrate you.
Oh, wow.
You know, they celebrate you, and also they if there's something going on, they come
Uh-huh.
to you in a loving, kind spirit and
Mhm.
discuss what's going on. They don't go to anyone else. They come
Uh-huh.
directly to you.
Mhm.
And then I think accountability is in there as well. It's being a
Yeah.
good friend, holding them accountable for some things, but in a loving and kind way.
Right. Right.
And a good friend knows, well, this is anybody, knows what to say and
Mhm.
when to say it.
Yeah.
So,
And when not to say it.
absolutely. You're right. You're right.
You just can't go and say, because you're my friend, I can just tell you whatever I'm thinking, or I can say whatever I feel. They're still human beings, and you can break up
Right.
a really good friendship
Yes.
by saying
Yes.
the wrong thing.
And I think in the past, I've lost some friends because of that, because I was outspoken and direct. And sometimes you just cannot be direct and outspoken. So I've learned to really back in on what I say. And you can say different things to different people. I got one girlfriend was like, okay, look, just tell me the real deal. Don't go through all of this. Just tell me. She wanted me to be direct. So I said, here it is. You know,
Okay.
you lay it out there. So you get to know your friends and what you can say to them and how you can say it. And she wanted it direct version. She said, I want you to tell me the truth, you know. So she didn't want any sugarcoating anything. So you
So
get
she's
to know
still
your friends.
your friend after you told her?
Oh yeah, we're still good friends to this day. We can
Good.
look at each other and say, okay, something's wrong. What's going on? You know.
Uh-huh. Uh-huh. That's good. That's good. I think that's very, very good. I think the other thing that what brought us back together was your birthday, when you were celebrating your birthday. And I don't know if you called me or if I got an invitation. I can't remember.
Well, you know what it was? Really?
What?
You turned 65 first.
Okay.
No, no, no. Let's go back. You
Let's see.
remember when Delana turned 65
Yes.
and you
Yes. That
came
was
up
it.
here and you said, you want to go to,
Delana
Delana's part?
party.
And
Uh-huh.
we
Sure
went
was.
in. I think that was the beginning of our new relationship
Yes.
in our 60s. Okay.
Exactly, exactly. Well, I'm glad you said that, because you're absolutely right. Because I wanted to bring in Delana too. And Delana's not on here, but Delana and I have known each other for since I was like in fifth grade or fourth grade. It was in elementary school. I met you in high school, but Delana I met in elementary school, and she and I had not. She was at my wedding too, but I hadn't seen her in, I don't know, probably the same amount of time. We lost touch, and her daughter found me. When you're on Facebook or when you're where, she found me, and she sent me an invitation in the mail, and I was like, "Where is this? Who is this person? Whatever." And when I searched it out, I said, "Okay, now this is what friends do." I said, "Okay, I'm gonna go to this party because she's invited me," and so I was real busy. I left a big meeting that I had, drove myself to the airport, got on a plane, went to Dallas, checked into a hotel. I told Jennifer, come get me. We're going to go together because I didn't want to go to this party by myself. So she, being a good friend, she came over to the hotel. We went together. And my point is, I could have easily said, you know, her birthday party is out of town. I can't drive there because I have a big meeting I have to go to. But because of my mother helping me to understand how important friendship is, and when people ask you to come to things like that that are milestones, you need to try to do everything. And if it costs you a little bit of money, uh, money is not more important than friendship. So I went to that party and got to see her and her family that I hadn't seen in probably same thing over 50 years because we were little, and she was in my wedding, so I guess yeah, it was the same amount of time. But then that's how we hooked up. And then you said, "Now my birthday's coming up," and what
Yeah,
was it?
but that was Delana's birthday in October.
It was almost a year
Remember?
away.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and then February comes around. It's your birthday.
Yeah.
Remember when I flew to Houston
Okay.
for
Okay.
your 65th
Okay.
birthday? So you said, "Are you coming to my birthday party?" I'm going, yeah. I had planned on driving, but
Yeah.
it was ice the night before because I was going to
It was
drive downstairs.
freezing. Yeah, it was freezing. Yeah.
Yes, it was ice here. And I said, okay, I don't know what the weather is down 45. So
Right.
I'm just going to book me a flight.
Right.
And I said, when I looked at it, I said, this flight costs too much. I said, but I'm not going to stay home. I'm going. This is my
Right.
friend. This is 65. God has blessed her to see 65, and I want to be there to celebrate that. So
Yeah.
I
That was
got on the
so.
plane, and
Yeah.
hey, it came on. And one of
And
my
it meant
girls,
so much to me. It meant so much to me. And Delana couldn't come. Now, here's another thing too. Even though I flew to her, she couldn't come to mine, but it's okay.
it's
Uh,
okay.
you know, even if she could come, I would have loved it. But even though she didn't come, I didn't get angry with her and say she's not going to be my friend anymore. You know, that's childhood stuff. So, but that meant so much to see you there at the party. And of course, yours came around a couple of months later, and I flew in the same thing to come to yours,
Yes, you did. Yes, you
and
did.
it was so very special. But those are things that you do, and so I wanted to say, you just don't wait till a person dies and then you try to come to show your respects once they're dead. Spend the money, spend the time, take the sacrifice, and do stuff while they're living.
Yes,
Okay, so those are really good. So I wanted to say with that, it made me think about what you just said, that they are excited for you and they celebrate you. They go out of their way to celebrate you,
yes,
and that's a
yes,
true friend. Um, they're honest, but I think I like the thing you said too. You have to be really careful because you got to know your friends. Some friends will
yes.
say, "Oh, just tell me the truth," but you know that person cannot handle it, and
Mm,
certain things you don't need to just let it go. I mean, if I could say too, one of the best things that you can do as a friend is learn to ignore or to look over some things
yes.
because you're not perfect and you're going to make mistakes and they're not perfect.
Hmm.
So if you're going to be in a friendship, it's kind of like in a marriage relationship too. You have to pick your battles. Is this something I want to really
Yes,
discuss with my friend, or do I just want to ignore the fact that she didn't call me back or she didn't include me? They all went on the girls' trip and nobody invited me. Do I, you know what I mean? I don't think this is worth breaking up the friendship
right,
because
right.
as my mom taught me that friends should, good friends, real friends, should be forever.
Absolutely.
You know, and so
Absolutely.
therefore, if you're going to do that, you got to look over some stuff.
Yes, yes, you do. You really, really do.
Right.
Um, and I sometimes I've learned that when friends come and talk to you, sometimes they don't want advice. They
Yeah.
just want you to listen.
Just want you to
And you just
listen.
have to be in tune with your friend. And just sometimes don't say nothing, and then they'll be okay, and then they'll figure it out. They'll figure it
Right.
out.
Right.
So,
And let's talk about ways that you can determine whether or not people really are your friends or really were your friends or good friends. Because I'm sitting here reflecting on the fact of a person who I thought that was such a friend to me. You know, I talked to that person almost every day, and we were very comfortable and so forth. And I kind of thought that was my friend, but friends, I found out that person, one little thing I did, and that person said, "This friendship's over." And I was kind of taken back about it at first, and then wondered, was that really a friend, or why was she in my life? Was she in my life in a genuine way? Or what I chose to say was that she just needed to grow some more. She did not know how to have a friend, or maybe it wasn't for us to be friends for life. It was friends for a season. What do you say?
exactly. Uh, it's all of that. People do come in your life for a season. I had a friend to come in my life for a season. Her husband introduced me to my husband, and
Okay.
about a year later, she passed of lung cancer.
Oh wow.
And
Wow.
we were both laid off from our job. She was at TI, I was at LTV. We started teaching together. That started our career, and we became friends. And we were friends about a year and a half. And, at that point, I know I said, people are not to be in your life for a lifetime, for only just a season.
Right.
Um, but yeah, if you truly consider a person a friend, and whatever you get to this person, it's worth it to go to them and talk to them and say, I don't understand what happened, or this is what you did to offend me. That's
Right.
when you start, I guess, what's the word? Developing your friendship, because your friendship go through changes and you have to develop it,
Mm-hmm.
uh, for years. So, and maybe that person didn't know how to do that, or they
Right.
hurt so bad. I don't know. It's just different
Yeah.
things that could happen with that.
Right. And you have to just be open to it, open to being a friend. And with that, being open to it, you have to understand that you may get hurt, you may get disappointed, and they may leave you, or even, I've had sometimes over the years where you may hear that a friend said something about you, or something that
Yeah,
you told them that you thought was confidential, they share it with somebody else.
yeah,
It's heartbreaking.
yeah. That gets me. Betrayal of confidence. You
Hmm.
know now you don't have to mention people names.
Right,
But when you mention people name, that really hurts me.
right,
But I'm a friend that I would do anything for a person. I will be there to support. And
right.
it seems like that when I needed people, nobody was around.
Hmm.
But
Hmm.
sometimes when you present yourself as being strong, people think you don't need the help.
Yeah, they do. Mhm.
And
Yeah.
I have to sit down and just really wrestle with that,
Hmm.
because I'm like, I'm all in with you as my friend. And I'm not a woe is me person. But when
Hmm.
I need someone, I
Hmm.
expect for them to be there.
Exactly.
But then I had to grow from that too. It's maybe God put in me what He wanted me to have to be to others. And
Right.
everything else He will provide for me.
And I think that's a good way to say that, to just trust God. But
Mhm.
in the position I am too, being a pastor's wife, you can't have everybody be your friend in your
Mhm.
circle, your small
Right,
circle.
right.
And so you have to be careful because people have ill intentions about wanting to be in your circle to
Yeah.
learn about, private things, and they can go off and talk and boast or whatever. And so you have to be careful who you let into your inner circle.
Yeah.
So
Just
therefore,
gorgeous.
have very many friends.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of the pastors' wives, they have their own friends, or they don't. A lot of them are not very friendly, and I understand why. Maybe they don't trust other pastors' wives,
Mm-hmm.
or a little. I don't know what it is, but I'm not like that. But I think that we have to understand this, and especially with COVID just going by, that a lot of people are sick and ill and didn't make it through COVID because they didn't have a friend to talk to. And with COVID, with us being shut in, if you didn't have a friend or somebody at least to talk to, then you get depressed, you know. And not only do you get depressed, you feel like you're all by yourself, that you're all alone. And so God didn't make us to be that way. He made us to be um, relational, to have friendship and relationships with not only with Him, and a lot of people too. So, well, I just got the Lord. No, you need more than just the Lord. The Lord wants you to have friendships. But if your friend or your mother, father forsake you, then the Lord is there. He's going to fill in that gap for you.
Yeah.
But I think that everybody needs to look at that and say, if I don't have friends, is there, and I did this on myself. I said, if I don't have friends, is there something wrong with me?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And one of the things that, when I was teaching elementary school, I used to teach when I was a counselor, I had a class on for groups with the students on friendship, because a lot of the elementary school kids were upset because they didn't have friends. So in me teaching it, I learned a lot about it. They said, if you want to have a friend, you have to show yourself friendly. You have to take the
Mm-hmm.
step to write a note, or invite them to your party, or play with them on the playground, or whatever. Be friendly, and to show yourself that I want that. Because like you said, sometimes people say, well, oh, she's a first lady, she's stuck up, she don't want friends. No, it's not that. um, and so sometimes we can act like we don't need anybody.
True.
So people
True.
keep going, like, so
Yeah.
the first thing to do is smile and say hello. I was
True.
telling my kids, I said, well, how can I do that? Well, first thing you do is just smile and say hello. Would you
Yeah.
like to play with me on the monkey bars, or would you like to share my gummy bears, or whatever it is?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Yeah. So,
So have you seen any close friendships over the years break up, or um, people that, because I know you were a principal and, worked with kids too. So have you seen any in your relationships, or people that were real close, maybe even in church is another one too. People in church are real close, and then all of a sudden there's something comes up and they can't stand each other. These are Christians we're talking about.
oh yeah, yeah. That happens, and uh, although we didn't see each other for a long time,
Right.
but we had so many commonalities. I became an educator. You became an
Right.
educator. You
Right.
know, um, and so we would have our family would have family reunions in Houston. Sometimes I would get to see you. Sometimes we didn't. But God always managed to keep us connected for a little bit. Remember, you did my cousin's eulogy.
I
Before
know.
she got sick, I called you and I said, "Please pray for my cousin. We have to pray." And she and her family, I think they came to the Met for a while.
They did. Well, what happened was their aunt Dorothy was a
Mm-hmm.
founding member of First Met. She was one of our founding
Okay.
members. And
Okay.
so her nieces, both of them joined First Met, and their daughter. So they were members there for quite a while. And then I didn't even know that she thought of me in that way. But when she passed, Well, first of all, this is how God does things. She was in college, and you asked me to pray for her because she had this cancer and it was very, very serious and so forth. So we prayed and prayed and prayed together about it. Now, I didn't know that she was a niece of our founding member, but I'm praying for her because of me and you praying. And so then when she passed on, uh, they weren't at the church anymore, but she had requested that I do her eulogy, and I had never done a eulogy before and did not know that that was a request because I told Bishop, I said, they called and they want you to do the eulogy. And so when he called them back, they said, no, she wanted Lady O to do it. I'm like, oh my goodness. But I know it was of God because it was my first time doing one. And it was, God just really did something with that eulogy. I don't know if you remember, it was just unreal. I give him the glory for it. But anyway, that's what I kind of put the all together that, hey, this is the cousin I prayed for years ago when she was in college. And so this is the same cousin. So it was just really, like you said, God kept putting us together through those kind of things. And I think she may be frozen. Yeah, she's going to go out and come back in. But anyway, it's just me still here. And I don't know if the time ran out or whatever on my friend of her had some storms or whatever. But just to kind of close it up, I would just say that Jennifer and I are a good example of what true friendship is. We went different ways, but we never lost connection. And then we made the initiative to call each other and get back together. And this year, this coming April, my husband and I will be married 50 years. And I'm telling her that definitely for her to get ready. There she is. Okay. I was just checking to touch you out there. But I was telling about how the 50th wedding anniversary, our 50th wedding anniversary is coming up. And I am making sure all of my friends that were in my wedding and that they're going to be now. Cherie, I got contact with Cherie, but I need to talk to her personally, make sure she saves the date. It's April 14th of next year. And then, of course, Deborah Taylor, she's here in Houston, and she and I were good friends too. Because when I moved to South Cloud for a year or two, whatever, we had some little issues going on there, but I did eventually move back. But she lived the street over from me on South Cloud. So let's see. Okay, there she is. That's Deborah. Okay, that's me and Deborah. When I got here to Houston, she asked me, she said, would you be in my wedding? She was getting married. Now, y'all, we look like we about 12 on here, but we are both, I know, 19 or 20 because I had been married already. I was married first, and then she got married, and so I was in her wedding. So this was taken in Houston at her wedding, and she requested I wear that particular dress to match and so forth at her wedding. So we're going to make sure that she's here. Talked to her the other day. And of course, Delana, going to make sure she's here, and Cherie. So, yes, dear.
I was wondering, are they ready to confess, all of them who helped the plot to get me to marry you? Did they put some in my food? Did they put some in my drink?
Now, Bishop,
oh, no.
See,
Good morning, Bishop.
I have people who were eyewitnesses of how you were chasing me down at Wilma Hutchins. And
then we just talk about being at every lunch period and always popping up where you were.
He was always at my locker. I remember he used to always jump around the locker. And the Temptations were really popping. He was like, I can't get next to you, girl. I can't get. And I'm like, no, you're not fixing to get next to me, though. Move away from my locker. You got a girlfriend, but he didn't want her. He wanted me. But anyway, we ended up all going to college together because from Wilma Hutchins, and these were people that were in my wedding too. Senator Royce West was there. Remember, he was there playing football, and of course, Johnny Mays was there. We all went to UT Arlington. Cherie, and it was a couple of more of them that were there that went to UT Arlington. So we kind of had a friendship there. So I'm going to make sure all the ladies are there and ask them to be here and have a big celebration. But um, I just want to thank you again for being my friend and for, even though we had gaps in there, we just kind of picked up.
Yes, yes. I'm
And
so glad.
one of the big things that you did too this year, you invited me to have Christmas dinner with you and your family because I had
I
not met your
did.
husband and I had not been
Yeah,
to your home ever. And
that was
so
a good thing. It was good. It's
it
good.
was so much fun. You have a beautiful home and she can
Thank
really
you.
cook too. She cooked
Uh,
well.
when you cook and people come like nothing goes right, you know?
It was good. Everything was good. And
Oh,
the
thank
ducks
you.
and all that stuff you cooked. She cooked so much. And we sat down, our families, and had Christmas dinner the first time uh, that I had done that. And then after I was going back home, I had went to Delana's and went to her house, never been to her house before. So I was intentional about getting back in touch with my friends
Yes, yes.
and making sure that we remain friends. And I'm not going to ever let that friendship die.
Oh, no, no. So I'm just so happy, you
Yeah.
know,
So,
about
so I
the
want to just say to
reconnecting.
all of you guys who have not gotten in contact with your friends, I want
Good.
you to go ahead and write the names down. I had to put my name. I said, well, when I started thinking about, do I have friends besides just my church members? I love my church members. Uh, but, I'm like, what about my friends when I was younger? Where are they? So I'm saying to you, those of you that are watching, write down your friends' names when you were kids. And if
Right.
they're still living, go and invite them to something, whether it's a phone call or to come visit or something like that together. I'm hoping that Jennifer and I and some of the other ladies can take a trip together, a girls'
Yes,
trip, so we really kind of hang out and have some fun together. Life is so short, guys.
it
We
is. It is.
we need to find our friends, love on them, let them love on us. And the best way to have a friend is to be a
Show
friend.
you. Yes, yes.
Show
Show your
yourself friendly, right?
personality. Absolutely.
All right,
Absolutely.
Jennifer. Love you, love you.
Love you. It's been a pleasure.
Okay, thank you for coming on. All right,
Okay.
we'll see you next Sunday again at 3 with Lady O for tea. And hey, go out and be a friend.